everyone. Welcome. And it's been one of those days that you kind of go, oh, nothing is turning out right. But here I am figuring this out. And so today I'm going to be showing you this month's Club Couture. Really simple project, but really, really cute. Perfect for the summer. And so go ahead and again, say hi. If you have questions, I'll go back to the comments later and answer them. So let's see what this month looks like. We'll see if I can kind of get through this without getting totally lost in this. It's been a week. My intention was to go live on Tuesday, but that didn't work out. As many of you know, I get a shot in my eye every few months, and that kind of knocked me out for a couple days. So typically these projects come in an envelope that looks like this. And so, but because I'm a designer, I get them with my orders and they come in a bag like this, which I'm going to save. So this month we have a transfer with cherries. And it is super cute. I actually love cherries, so I will go ahead and open this up. It also comes with this chubby, and these chubbies are great for projects, and I think this might be the first time I've seen a square chubby like this, if I can ever get it out of the packaging. And so it comes with this chubby. At some point it's going to open up. There you go. Toss that here. And also it comes with two paste colors in singles, and one of them is in cherry and the other one is in pesto. So they come like this. So you have the packets, the little chubby that stands up, and then the transfer. Now I'll be making several projects with these throughout the month, just to showcase this particular transfer, among other things that I will be making this month. So let's get it out of here, and I'm going to use this part of it just to see how that looks. But it also has some blossoms, the word cherry, and some random cherries here and there. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, this part of it out. And you don't have to cut these out. I'm going to cut it out just because it's just easier for me to use that way. But you don't have to do that. Okay, so see, I just took that out of there. Hey, so how are you guys doing today? Let's see if this ever comes up with some comments here. Oh, nothing there. Okay, so first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna fuzz your transfer, and these are sticky and reusable 10 to 12 times if you haven't been here before and you're new watching this, or if you're watching the replay. If you don't see that live button somewhere up there, that means you're catching the replay. So just go ahead and comment replay. And that way I know you stopped by. Let me know where you're from in the comments. That would be great. I love knowing where people are watching from. And I will also, if you want information on Club, just comment Club, and I will send you some information on our Club subscription. It's super cool. Now before I do that, I'm actually going to go ahead and wax this just a little bit, not too much. It is wood, and though it's kind of smooth, I feel like it needs a little bit of wax. So I'm just going to use some surface wax, and it's just, I like this one because it doesn't smell like anything. You can use others. And I'm just going to lightly put some wax on there, and that kind of helps for the paste to go on, and also it makes it so that if there is a mistake, it's easier to correct. But you don't want to put too much in there, because then the stencil doesn't quite stick as well as you need it to. So I'm going to put it on there, and then I'm going to go ahead and buff it really well. I don't know if my friend Pat's on. Sometimes she comes on. Unfortunately, I'm still not seeing any comments. Give me 1 second. Sorry, got to grab something. Okay, and as I went behind there, I also noticed Lauren's on. Thanks for stopping by, Lauren, and saying hi. Okay, so now that I have this nice and waxed, and a lot of people, like I said, ask, why do you wax, especially your wood, or when you put a layer of paint or paste, and then you're going to put another layer on there, you want to wax because the stencil is sticky, and if you don't, it will lift up the paste that you've laid down to begin with, even sometimes when it's dry. All right, so I need my glasses here for lining this up. So I'm just going to kind of place it on there, and I'm going to line this up about where I think I want it. Now, I just eyeball it. I am not a perfectionist when it comes to crafting. I just kind of just eyeball things and about, think about, maybe a little more this way. So, and this is the hardest part for me, again, because if you know, my eyes are not great. Okay, so then I run my fingers through it just to make sure there are no bubbles. So, how many of you guys have used these stencils before? I know Lauren has. I know Pat has. So, they are quite easy to use. And I'm just going to let that go as is. And I'm going to use my jars rather than the little packets. I'm going to leave those maybe for some giveaways later. So I'll put those away there. And I'm going to go ahead and start with some cherry. And I'm going to use some small tools today. I think this is called detail tool, but I never get the names quite right. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the little cherries on top here of the scale. Are cherries out yet? I don't even know. I haven't seen them yet, but they're awful good. Around here, Rainier, cherries are really good. They're just super delicious. So let's go ahead and cover those cherries up. And if I get a little bit elsewhere, well, it is what it is. And then I think I'm also going to do the fresh cherries part of it in the cherry color here. There we go. When you get your first club subscription, you get that month's club, and you also get a squeegee in your first month. And it's getting a little happy mail every month, and I've decided to go ahead and do club once a month and show people how to do it. For those of you who are club members, we can go ahead. You can kind of see how to use these, and I'll try to use a stencil in more than one way so that you guys can kind of see and get some ideas. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lift that just so, super cute. That. See. And let me know if this shows up backwards. I turned my camera around because it was the only way that it would show. I think will show things the right side rather than mirrored. I've got to figure out how to get the front side of the camera not mirrored. So there is a way. I studied it today. It just wouldn't work for me. So I decided to just let it go. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom. I'm just going to do this part of it, the sweeter, the word sweeter, and I'm going to just go around it very carefully here again. And these little detail tools, or whatever this is called, I should write it down somewhere so I remember. They're really great because you can just get into those little areas. And this one has a lot of little areas, so, but I think it's super cute. Okay. All right, almost done here with the sweater. Now, I'm going to be trying to go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm going to start off at noon, but I might actually add a day there in the evening to see how that works out, and then I'll still have my videos and stuff. And like I said, if you can't catch me during the live, that it will be up. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 months they leave them on. They do Facebook does delete them after a while, but they are on there for a while. Okay. I think I'm missing a few spots here. Let's take a peek at this and see how it looks. Okay, my F is not quite there. So and that's what you want to lift up and just check, because sometimes you miss a spot. And for me, that's more typical than not, again, because, you know, those eyeballs, they betray me. All right. I think that looks good. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and take the pesto, and this is a really pretty green. I really like this green. And I am going to go around these little flourishes here with pesto, and I'm using a very small, and you can use a paintbrush too on these. If it's a really small area, it will work. So as long as it's not too soft that doesn't kind of get in there, but you don't need to put a lot of pressure on these for this to go in. It is a silk screen, so the paste will go through there fairly simply and pretty easily. And now here I'm going to just hold my breath and hope I get it right, because it is very tiny. But again, if you get it on something else, hey, it's my project, and I'll put it in my home, and it'll look great. Okay. Watch, pretty soon I'm going to be making a few t-shirts, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to do some patriotic t-shirts. I've done patriotic kind of home decor, but I haven't done the t-shirts yet. And I always make t-shirts for our family for the 4th of July, so stay tuned for those. I have some cute ones coming up, and I always love to make those during the season. And my husband loves the t-shirts I make him, so I'm going to be doing that as well. All right, let's see if this is going to show up. Little spot there. And you can kind of see the technique here is just kind of lift it and check it. And I'm good with that. I'm just going to let it be at that. Okay, that looks great. And then finally, the last part of this is I'm going to be using a different color. Again, if you only have the kit and it comes with those two colors, that's all you have, I would just kind of use the green for the rest of it, or some of the other colors. But I'm going to use some gray here at the bottom and see how that looks. Hopefully it'll look good. I don't know. I'm just going to put it on there and see how that looks. One of the things that is nerve-wracking about lives, and which is why I haven't done a whole lot of them, is I like to control things, and when you're live, you can't control it, so it is what it is. And so here I am with just making it and hoping it all turns out okay. These projects are not terribly difficult, but you know. Oh, that looks great. Look at that. So far, so good. All right, let's do the line also in gray. And the little swirlies up here that attach to those lines, I'll do that in gray as well. And it's that time of the year. How many of you, your allergies are just going nuts? Mine are just insane. I took an allergy medication this morning, but I don't think it's helping. It's just like all day, just sniffles and sneezes. Okay, let's do the other side here. And even when they do work, after a while they seem to wear off. So I don't know. That's the only part I don't like about when it gets nice around here. This Olympia is a beautiful area of the state of Washington, but I mean the whole state is beautiful, but this area is super beautiful, very, very lush and very green. But with that comes all the sneezes and everything else. So, and then I'm also going to do the scale. It's kind of an old-fashioned scale. I don't know if you're old enough to remember those scales with the pan on them, and then they had the big circle thing with the little, I don't know, what is that, pointer or whatever. My father used to own a supermarket in Chicago where I spent the first 10 years of my life. And I remember there was one of these in the produce section and one in the meat section. And they're, you know, they just kind of reminded me of that. And that's been a few years. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish this up. Right, so. And I should turn on my, let's go ahead and turn on my glue gun here, because I'm going to go ahead and put something on it if I remember where the little knobbly went. Okay, turn that on in a minute. I was going to do that before I started, and of course, you know, it's one of those days. Okay, I think I am ready to reveal this. Let's peek at it nice and slow to make sure that it doesn't, there we go, that we haven't missed any part of it. But I'll turn it around to see how this looks, and we'll see. Let's see, we'll look at it together. I think I want a little bit more of that gray right up in here, so I'm going to grab that little tool there and just press down a little more there. Let's take a peek. And a little more over here. And it could be that maybe I had a little too much wax in there. Didn't think I put that much on there, but sometimes it happens. So I like that you can retouch these too. So, all right, let's see. For some reason, it is drying on my but I'll give you a fix here in a minute too if this doesn't want to go on there. Sometimes they just dry. I might have waited too long to pick up that sweeter. Okay, here we go. It's gonna come off. And it is a little distressed, so take a peek. How cute is that? What do you guys think? I'm going to dry this really well. So cute. Love cherries. And these are the ugliest glasses again. I've been waiting to get new glasses. Waiting for my doctor to say I can. So now I can only use cheaters. So what are you going to do? And when you test it, when you test your project to see if it's wet or dry, just kind of touch it slightly. Don't move it around, otherwise you can spread it if it's wet. But if it's dry to the touch, then it's good to go. And this dries pretty fast, by the way. It doesn't take much at all. Okay, look at that. Okay, so I have a tiny little brush here. And I'm going to just touch up that that S that it's just missing a tiny little bit there. And I don't know why, but I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit on my brush And again, definitely put those on. And I'm just, instead of, you don't brush it on, you just kind of tap it on. So just tap it and it'll fill in the area that you missed. And again, I don't do this too often because my eyeballs are kind of bad. So just like that. All right. Now that that's done, we'll dry that again. Okay, so one of the things that I saw these made on Pinterest, and I thought they were super cute. So I grabbed a little piece of twine. You can use whatever, and some red beads, or if you don't have red, just go ahead and color them in, and just kind of, let's see if we can thread it in there. Okay, and then make a knot at the bottom. Let's see if this works. See if it holds it. Yep. We'll make it, maybe we'll make 2 knots just to give it a little more. Okay, maybe 1. And then I'm going to thread the other one through. And for this one, I'm just going to measure about where I want that. I'm going to go ahead and cut the end off here. And then, oh my gosh, see what happens when you can't see well? I cut my knot off. Oh, that just didn't sound right. Okay, here we go. I cut that little knot right off because my depth perception is so bad. Dang it. Okay, I'm making it a little bigger this time. All right, that's good. And we'll put a knot on this side, and then hopefully it looks like, let's see, like a couple of cherries. I don't know. We'll see. You tell me if you think it looks like a little cherry or not. Now let's make sure I don't get rid of the knot this time. All right. And I'm going to put one on each side here. And then I'm going to hot glue it right about here. I'm going to just live and learn. Grab one of these little things. They'll save your fingers. I'm going to put it right here on the corner. Just like, let's see, which way do we want it? One longer than the other. So let's see how much longer. Just a little bit. And then also, let's put a little, just a little ribbon right on top here as well, just to give it that extra little touch. And I think these need to be a little shorter on one side. So I'm going to cut it a little more, just because I don't think it looks quite right. So put the little knot here, and maybe now I cut it too short, I don't know. But you get kind of the idea of what I'm going for here. Uh-oh. All right, nothing but problems today. That one came off. Yeah, okay. And this is why I don't do as many lives as people. You know, kind of things just don't quite work out sometimes. Let's try this again. We'll put a little knot here. And we'll put one longer than the other, and we will glue that back up there. And the length really is up to you, how far up you want it or how far down. It doesn't, you know, it won't matter. Just kind of get it down there. And then that will be it. Okay, that's it. As good as it's gonna get today. I will, I'll take a picture later, put it somewhere and show you kind of how I used it. Let me know what you think. And come back next Tuesday. I'll let you know for sure that I'll be here. Thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. I will leave you again, or actually, I go ahead and comment club if you want to know all about what our club is. And next Tuesday, I'll come with you with another project. In the meantime, I'll have some videos. Hey, take care of yourselves. Bye.